Is that any better? Let's see if that works. Hopefully that's better. I can see my mic moving and working. We'll see. We'll see. All good? Cheers, guys. Right, let's save up that. So, the plan today is to figure out how we can beat Zoroark decks without losing to Gardevoir decks, because these are two decks that we need to learn how to beat in the new format, and that's pretty important. My alter Lego. Howdy. Okay, cheers guys for working that out. Yeah, so we need to highlight a few key things that's really important about how to beat Zoroark. I think I might actually use a spreadsheet for this. It might be the best thing. So we're going to sort of like culminate our ideas, and then we'll look towards our current card pool to see if we have anything that can fit into the categories that I'm looking for. So let's get into an Excel spreadsheet and start off with that. Then we'll jump back into PTCGO and look at the card pool that we have access to and see if any of these things fit the bill. Because really, if you go into Leipzig or Turin or any of these, the next few standard tournaments, even the next American regionals, it's going to be really important to be able to beat those decks. So let's try and get into this. Okay, that didn't work. This one. Haha! Okay, good. Excellent news. Get out of the way. Okay. Right, so decks to beat in order to be a good deck. In order to be a good deck, we need to beat a couple of decks right now. I also need to move my chat box because it's not fitting. Oh, it's because I've... Okay, hold on. Chat box, move back to where you were. As you were, chat box. I just need to move this a little bit in to cover up PTCGO. There we go. Okay. Dark Slowbro, how's it going? Not Laurantis booting. Yeah, maybe. We'll see what criteria we come up with to see. So, Gardevoir, still probably, by the way, going to be joint most popular deck alongside Zoroark, Golisopod. Then we have to be aware of other Zoroark builds. We still have to be aware of Silvally, and I think mainly metals. I think Volcanion is one that we have to be aware of. What else have we got? Actually, I'm gonna make this more focused. So these two are the core decks that we genuinely need to not lose to, right? I mean, you can never not lose to both these decks overall, but yeah, Mill is actually something I want to get onto in a minute because there's a theme that Mill could be really good in the format. So we also need to be aware of Greninja, yuck. What else are we looking at in this format? There's still other metal stuff like Metagross. Oh god. Drampa Garb. Everyone says it's dead, but still be aware of it. Still be aware that if people get a little bit too crazy, things can happen. And you can get punished for playing a big old ability deck still in the format. What else have I got written down? Tapu Bulu. Yuck. Okay, so really, I think these are the two things you need to outright not lose to, and then we sort of need to be aware of these. Okay, be aware of these bunch, whilst also not outright losing to these two. I think we'll start seeing these ones drop off a little bit. Buzzwole variants as well as something. So I think these are the things, these are the highest priority. These are like, let's also not lose to these and have outs for this still. And really we don't have to care about this stuff. Okay, so this we can just, I don't know. This is how little we care about it. We'll just put it in complete black. Joking. I don't know what colour we give this. A red somewhere maybe. Okay, that's fine. So this is top tier for sure. Both these decks are 100% top tier. So we want to find themes within the format to sort of understand. So first of all, we want to look at the strengths. Okay, strengths, and then weaknesses, and then we'll look for trends later on. Okay, and then we're going to try and make the most out of these trends and see if we can come up with overarching themes that we can use to try and win. What's the most consistent thing to play? This deck right here is the most consistent deck in the format, Zoroark Glycopod. And that's going to be one of the huge strengths of the deck. 1 energy attackers, acerola loop, N-proof, I guess. I need to... This is going to get difficult. This is going to... Okay, I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit. Maybe not that much. You still kind of have to read it, right? Okay. This also has come out horribly. I should do this on something else. Okay. Yeah, that's one of the strengths of Gardy, I guess. I need to figure out the best way of doing this. We should actually go downwards rather than across. Okay, I may as well fix this now before I do stupid things and make it just harder for us along the way. Okay, this makes more sense. Did I just... Whoops. Don't want to forget about a deck. This is probably the best way of doing things. And we'll think about new contenders in a moment, because there's surely more. Do you have actually Comic Sans? Almost perfect. It works. The system works. Almost. I just need to shorten words. Buzzwole. Okay, that all fits, right? We know it's metals, obviously. Okay. So, strengths. Haha! Draw engine's obviously the big one. Energy denial. Acerola loop. Type coverage. Like literally there's too many good things about this deck. That sort of covers it the most. Okay. Tanking. Healing. Damage output. Type coverage again is a pretty good one. Why this way? We sort of have to do it this way because I need to have the space to write all the strengths that I want to do. We'll look at... I don't know, it'll make sense the more we go through. So, why is Gully really good again? Oh yeah, GX attack is bust. Okay, cool. You're a power player. You like knockouts, so I tried to play something powerful and make it as consistent as possible. That is probably... oh yeah. Okay. tanking, healing, damage output, type coverage. GX is literally a band supporter. Dialga memes. We'll wait on that. Okay. What else is really good about Gardy, by the way? This is pretty much covering all of it. I guess Draw Engine as well. Like, when you get Glade Octillery up, you are pretty nuts. So I guess we'll also throw in Draw Engine. I'm getting a Facebook post. I should... Let me just quickly get off Facebook and see if this is relevant for me reading. That's my brother asking for stuff for Christmas. Brilliant. He ain't getting none of that. Okay, let's hop back over. Okay, over to Zoro Desi. The Draw Engine. I don't want to put Draw Engine everywhere. But yeah. Kakuna! Kakuna's the answer. Okay, so there's going to be some repetition in here, but spread damage is definitely a great one. Healing, tanking. You're already seeing a theme that a lot of these are, you know, ability-based draw engines that we can maybe target, and acerola looping or tanking is a theme in multiple of these already. So you'll start seeing why we're trying to list as many strengths as possible in general. So we can start saying, you know what, if healing's a big part of the format, we should probably be taking one-hit knockouts, you know? These are the sort of trends I'm trying to establish off the bat, right? GX attack is also insane. What should I call it? I want, in the next set, by the way, I want the Palkia GX. Just a really random thought. Seeing as though how busted the Dialga GX is, I want the Palkia GX to have a GX attack that says flip over your opponent's GX marker, by the way. I think that would be such a hideously gross mechanic, but also really fun. You like my sweater? It's coming to Christmas time. I'm not wearing my full-on Christmas jumper yet, but this is, you know, on the way to a Christmas jumper. Thank you very much. Cheers. Okay. What else is really good about Desi Zoro? Spread damage. It's more just that, like, it's a higher output version of Zoropod, right? Spread damage slash higher output. It's still efficient attack costs. And yeah. Laura, how's it going? Jack said, oh my god, that's genius. Flip it over if it's already been used. Well, you know what I mean. Flip over the side that says it's been used. I know I'm on Team OmniPoke. It's intentional. We're trying to have more streams on Team OmniPoke for the next like month or two so that we can get partnered. That's the whole plan. Then we'll get back to CCG, where I belong, on a Monday. Palkia GX permanent parallel. That would be really hard to enforce, I guess. Well, maybe not if... I guess you just look at the GX marker. Concentrate, Laura. Okay, sorry. I need to get back to this. Otherwise, it's never going to get done. I want to do like a long old chat about it today. And we'll end up with weird decks to test. Okay, what else are we looking at? These are like... Type coverage isn't really the same. Okay, fine. Silvally. Okay. Type coverage is a huge one. This is like the main selling point. And I would love to be able to spell. This is definitely the biggest part about Silvally. O-hit KO potential is another one, because you sell a Steelers GX attack, you can energy acceleration. That's also a huge part of Silvally. Type coverage, one hit KOs, energy excel. This pretty much covers Silvally for how good it is, right? Stop opening double E hammer. What else is really strong about Silvally? This is it, right? It's basically always just going to be a counter deck. That's pretty much how it always feels. So Silvally actually has a very high chance of being a deck that we end up constructing to try and beat these two. Because we've already seen it be paired with Metal for this, and it already has Fighting Memory for this. So you would think that Silvally is like a natural counter to both of these. It doesn't always work out that way because the draw engine's not very good. But we did see some Silvally playing Zoroarks, so that might be something we have to try. Yeah, Free Retreat's nice, but that's like a bonus type thing. Just, I guess I can put in flexibility. It doesn't, like, although it probably does play like 1 or 2 acerolas, I think I'm not going to put the healing concept as a big part of it, but just bear in mind that this can also have healing and doesn't really appreciate 1-hit knockouts either. So, Volk, OHKO deck. That's something that stands out straight away. As soon as Zoroark Gliscopod won, a lot of people jumped on the fire hype train, literally in the League Cup the next day after seeing 2 Zoroark Gliscopods in the top 8 of London. The League Cup was won by a Volcanion Silvally list, just because they wanted to target the hot new deck, and they did, and they won. So, yeah. He lost to a lone executor. What a way to go. Should I add that to the... No, I'm not going to add it. But yeah, Buzzwole is definitely a talking point that I want to get onto in a moment. We'll literally talk about it here. I have an interesting opinion on Buzzwole and why I don't think it's the answer to Zoroark, to beating Zoroark, but we can get onto that in a minute. So yeah, Energy Acceleration is also nuts. All basic deck. That's a big part of like just consistency. What else is just good? I mean, these are the 2 only real points that you care about, right? Of why Volk is Volk. These are the only factors like we know about Volk. I guess that's fine. Okay, Froggo's Ability Lock. This is a big one. This is the first deck we've talked about that has Ability Lock. And it's always slept on that this... Like, look at every deck right now in the top 5. They all struggle with Ability Lock. Even Zoropod, with a Grass attacker, struggles against Greninja because they are so focused on this thing right here. I do slides now on stream. Really because the meta's changed so much in my opinion, because going into London, Garbodor was a deck to beat, and now it feels like it's really fallen off the map, and the format has become very ability focused. So, it feels very, very fresh, even though like only 1 deck's dropped, but it's like the drasticness of the drop, right? And the drastic rise of Zoroark. Like, we all said it was good. I did a whole 1-hour video saying about how Zoroark was good. There's actually something I'm gonna get something up just to be funny / salty. So I'm sure a lot of you looked at my like Zoroark video. It wasn't a deck video necessarily. It was just like a big discussion of why I think Zoroark's busted, right? And there's a slide that is just like so. I'm so sad at myself. Because clearly I saw something, but I just didn't roll with it, and it makes me very, very sad. Because literally, you'll see this slide and you'll just laugh. Okay, here's the slide. Let's get into HD. Okay, look at this. So this was okay. What date is this? This was October 14th. Okay. Okay, here we go. October 14th, 2017. So this is... was Zoroark even released then? I'm not even sure if it was released at this point. But look at this slide, okay? Look at this slide for a second. And just... So, I literally had a slide of Zoroark, Gliscopod, Acerola, E-Hammer, and Puzzle of Time, all on one slide, saying, this could be good, this could be amazing, and then I just completely forgot about it. and just let someone else roll with the idea, test it for 500 games, and yeah, win 10k. So I had the makings of a good deck right there, but I just didn't do all the other stuff. Yes, Nick, exactly. I played myself. I showed the world the way to do things, and just didn't do it myself. To be fair, there's also crushing hammers and scoop ups. I agree. Like, this was clearly a theory video rather than anything else. And the Glyspod, in fairness, was mainly here just to state that Zoroark can be just as efficient with acerola and scoop ups as Glyspod is. I don't think I was even talking about them as partners. But yeah, it's just, when I look back at this the other day, it was just so tilting to be like, whoa. Yeah, it does say with deck lists, but it didn't have a Glycopod Zoroark one. It was like, let's see what the lists were. I think it was like, okay, wait. This is like Joe reviews. Okay, there was a Decidueye list, nice. That actually looks like quite a bad list, but it was like a starter list, I guess. I think I did Decidueye, I did Ninetales, which obviously flopped, and I did Metagross. Those were the 3 lists I built. But yeah, this was all like as Zoroark had just been released, right? So it was mainly theory. But anyway, I thought that was funny. Just a little side note. It tilted me the other day. You can play straight Zoro with 2/2 Bishop. That's true. You can. You can do pretty much anything you want to with Zoroark. I personally don't think Bishop's the way to go, because essentially having Bishop in play incentivizes them to use Gallade, and Gallade is already like way harder to deal with for Zoroark. And if you play Bishop instead of Golisopod, you can't one-hit KO their Gallades unless you play Mewtwo and Kukui, which you can do, but sure. So the consistency element of Volk, I think that's kind of the point around like all basics. I found it to be, I mean, it is a consistent deck at the same time, but you also need to draw on certain turns, very specific stuff. And on turns that you whiff, it can cause you to lose the game. And I know that's the same with any deck, but it really feels that there are turns where you can't miss stuff as Volk, and if you do, you should lose. So I don't know about the whole consistency thing. I think it gets on the board early, which is like early game consistency, which is a big thing. But then there's mid to late game consistency, which isn't always there. I remember playing Octillery and Volk before, and that was oftentimes a good solution to that. But you need to play Starmie. So yeah. Okay. Quad Sylveon did want a League Cup in America. We will move on to that, don't you worry. Because, oh, Matt Slats is now hosting as well with 42 viewers. What a guy! So I think he must have just finished his stream. So thanks so much, Mark. I didn't do a League Cup report. I can run down that really quickly later on. I ended up coming 11th. Me and Jack played 59 cards of the same deck. I played Gardy just because one of my friends was borrowing my Zoroarks. RIP. So yeah, I'm not surprised I didn't get points. I really hate stage 2s. 45 Master, how's it going? Mark, how's it going? Welcome. Okay. Right. Okay, so single prizes. Energy Denial / Tapu Fini is actually really important for Greninja's win condition in a lot of situations. And spread damage / high output is also the case for the late game. So yeah, Greninja, annoyingly, it's still super powerful when it gets rolling. It's just one of those Beetle things. What do I think of Mark dressing up as Kangaskhan and you being in his pouch? Surely it would be the other way around. Surely. Surely. How did Jack do? He came top 4. Tord, how's it going, mate? I'm literally making a spreadsheet to figure out how to not lose to your deck every time, because it's ridiculous, honestly. Okay, Buzzwole, the powers of Buzzwole. Spread damage / early pressure is a big thing. Acerola / tanking, another one. Gust effects, if we're going down the Lycanroc route, which is... I might need to make 2 for Buzzwole. Okay. Buzz, like, and Buzz, other. Because there could easily be other Buzzwole variants. Mark's got me covered, shut this down. Mark's got the solution. Does it involve... Okay. If I was just to flash something on the screen, would it involve something similar to this meme right here? Okay. We'll get to why I've built this deck in about an hour's time. Ninja869, how's it going? Okay. It's the same meme. Oh yes, boys. Gutsy hammer. Okay. 93 viewers. Wow, thanks so much, guys. This is awesome. Especially because I've not even like broadcast about this at all. This is amazing. Mainly just because people watching Mark have jumped over, but thanks so much. Why Max Potion over Acerola in this meme? Because we don't have space for E-hammers anyway. I think it makes more sense for us to max pot so we can take more advantage of special charge. And the whole idea is, in a mirror situation, they're going to be Golisopoding you the whole time. So it doesn't make sense for you to be Acerolaing. It makes sense for you to be Guzmering. That's the idea. Marx is better? I'm not surprised. No, Acerola's not always better, because in a mirror situation, you exactly want to Guzma every single time. So, it never makes sense for you to Acerola. Hashtag Mark Army. In this case, I believe Max Potion is more likely the better choice. Because there's never going to be a Zoroark sat in your face, right, for your crab. Like, if that's happened, they've already lost the game because they're playing hideously. You still need to Acerola Zoroark the whole game? I mean, you can Max Potion, because in many mirror situations, you'll get your stuff E-hammered anyway. I'm thinking if it's Zoropod at this point. What is this dude? Anyway, this isn't this isn't my intention. We want to jump back to this. Strong energy, boys. Why not play Buzzwole instead? Buzzwole doesn't one-hit KO Zoroark. So they just Acerola. It's like the same as attacking with any attacker in the game. You played the deck with basic energy for 2 hours? Lol. Okay, anyway, we're getting back to this. There's a whole story I'm building up here. I shouldn't have spoiled crabs, but I don't want Mark to steal my thunder. Although it seems like he already has, right? Lots of stupid Guardy. I feel like Guardy's harder when you play crabs compared to Pod. But anyway, Mark could be King Crab, that's fine. I'll let him keep that meme. I've made plenty of my own. Right, okay. Ram Zoroark, the best Zoroark? I think so. Okay. Where were we? So if it's Lycanroc, we do have one-hit KO potential. Because we play Elixirs in this build, right? So we can build up to a Lycanroc KO, or we can build up to Buzz one-hit KOs. Joe's a Krabby, Mark's a Crabrawler. Surely Kingler. You can't just mix evolution lines. Plus Kingler has the word king in it. So if he's King Crab, surely. Use Spell Checker. I don't know. That'd be your pick instead of Soglay. Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Lol. Okay. So, if we're going to build a non-Lycanroc build, because I don't know, I'm not sold on the Lycanroc build, even though it made 2 top 8 spaces. I think the best part of the Lycanroc build was the fact that it just played Octillery. I feel like just having late game outs was just so important in this format. I'm not saying it was like a fluke or anything, I'm just not seeing the power of the Lycanroc as much as maybe I should. I understand that the extra gusting is really good in this format, and it does allow you to target Zoroarks, which is good when you have weakness on all of them. But yeah, Sudowoodo would definitely go into my Buzzwole. I think the alternative is that we just go back to a Garbodor list. Oh, Xanadu as well. Cheers for hosting. It didn't feel like the optimal list to you. Yeah, the elixirs was huge as well. So if we're playing non-Lycanroc, I mean, I loved the Octillery. So do we play Muck? Muck and Octillery to try and get it working? Of course it's you, Nick. I know. How do we think we build Buzz if it's not a... Yeah, if it's not Lycanroc. Because, yeah, as it's just been mentioned in chat, having your 2 prize liability against the pod part is pretty awkward, because then you both have weakness on each other, and their weakness actually one-shots, whereas our weakness only one-shots when we've elixir 3 times. And when we do that, they have Mewtwo to bounce back on us, so... I think another attacker. How do you keep... Decibuzz? That's not horrible. Why Muck? Regirock EX is really strong. I mean, it does push you to 60, but so can Fury Belts. Muck, because we need to shut off Mime, right? We can't not shut off Mime if we're playing Buzzwole. You can just not evolve Lycanrocs. I understand that. But at the same time, they're going to force Glycopods your way the whole time, right? And you don't really have any advantage against Glycopod at all. Garbe Acerola is a little better than Buzzoro. Buzzoro is also a thing, yeah. That actually allows us to access our... I don't know, we'll come back to Buzzwole. I'm not sold on him though, just because the Mewtwo tech is just so easily splashable. And we need to build up 3 energies if we want to one-shot the Zoroarks, so... It's like deceptively really bad, I think, against Zoroark. Not like really bad, but like it's not a counter to Zoroark. They have all the answers, right? So you play not the GX Lycanroc. That's a really bad attacker, right? Let's search it quickly. It's a really bad attacker. Yeah, it does 30 damage. Yeah, I'm not playing that card. Rock throw, baby. Okay. Back to where we were. Okay, so I'm really... I don't know, like even seeing the deck on stream, I feel like it was always underpowered whenever I saw this being played. When it beat a Gardevoir, it was due to a moment of madness from their opponent. Otherwise, the Guardi had it on lockdown. I don't know, maybe it was just for the tournament, it was a better call than it is now that we see a more reasonable snapshot. Okay, Drampa Garb, ability lock. but not perma. As we've seen, Zoropod plays 3 to 4. I think a lot of people will be dropping to 3 just because Garb is now way less relevant. But even 3 plus puzzles is really, really awkward. So the big issue is that Gardevoir really isn't perma-lock. And it's most, like, before it wasn't a huge issue. Because, like, end lock was really good. But when you have so many outs with Zoropod, it's, like, really bad. And on the turns when they break the lock, they can then draw 6 cards to then have outs to break the lock again, you know? And at the same time, they're thinning all the trash, so they'll only draw into supporters or draw into field blowers, in theory. So what do you think the deck's sick? Yeah, Guzma gets rid of Toxin as well. Seems that everything's super efficient at dealing with it. Energy denial, consistency. Like, let's not write off Drampa Garb, but it definitely needs to adapt if it wants to beat the other stuff. Is Greninja tier 1? Of course not. Of course it's not tier 1. It can't draw cards in like 4 out of 10 games. It's tier 1 if you're in the game after 4 turns. That's when it's tier 1. That's when it's like tier S. Oh, green as in Bulu. I vote for 15 card hands deck. Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good. I think ultimately, a lot of the time it's like, if you can't beat it, join it. And it's just whether we can gain an edge in, you know, like Zoroark mirrors. That's why we'll jump over to crabs in a moment, but yeah. Oh, it's not in green, I see. Now I understand. I see. Where's Xerneas? Xerneas could still be over here in the red zone. But actually, Xerneas is pretty good against Zoropod. It just really still struggles against Gardy. Although a lot less so than it used to when Sylveon was the main component of Gardy. So, interesting. Daniel Melrose did make top 64 with it. Yeah, it does lose to Sylveon Mill. But what else does Sylveon Mill beat, right? Obviously some stuff, but someone called to Mao. What else is good against Drampa Garb? It doesn't really have O-hit KO because it's only 180, but I guess the devolve approach is still an option. That's still often how it tries to win if it plays the Espeon. You sat between the only 2 Xerneas players in London. There was only 2. Rip. Sylveon Mill did win that LC. I should probably let me try and find that list. That'll be something else that we look at. I know that Squeaky made a video about it. This is going all over the place already. I had like lots of thoughts. We're still looking at the strengths of decks right now. We're not looking at like weaknesses that we can exploit in general for the meta. That's the overall aim. Okay, Squeaky's got a list somewhere. Okay, I'll keep that in the background for now, but we'll go to that in a moment when we look at answers or potential answers. Glade Octillery. Yeah, I have a list for Glade Octillery also. Okay. Have fun and dodge Gardy. Excellent. Okay. Glisspod Garb. I think it's better than Drampa Garb, but But there are still inconsistencies there, which is a little annoying. Tanking, healing. So, might discover that Gorgas is OP. I've also got a list for that. I've been trying so many things to try and beat this format. It's unreal. Sylveon Mill loses to Houndoom Zard. Does it? Does it? Okay. Vikabulu. Oh, hit KO potential. Oh, baby. Set up in 1 in 10 games. Oh, yes. That's literally the only good thing about Vikabulu, right? Is there any other strength for Vikabulu? I guess it removes energy from self, which really helps against Guardy. Like, all I want to say about Vikabulu is, like, Bulu is probably one of the best attackers we have in the game right now. It honestly is. Hey, we've broken 100 viewers. That's insane. Like I said this last week, and I was like, is Bulu the best attacker in the game? And, like, in theory, it kind of is. In theory. It's just that, I guess energy acceleration. Yeah, that makes sense. But we sort of have to, right? It doesn't beat Froggos either. Not consistently. Unless you play Fury Belts, it doesn't beat Frogs consistently. I mean, it doesn't beat anything consistently because it's inconsistent. Lol. Yeah, that's a genuine pro of playing Bulu. You get to rock the big old Mexican hat man with the big nose ring. What a beast. He's my favourite Tapu, design-wise. Okay. Tanking. Guardy. Smasher. This is literally all there is to Metagross, right? It's still just a counter deck. Clefairy boys. You can lose to Frogs with this deck? How? It's actually not that unreasonable to lose to Frogs with Vikabulu if you don't play Fury Belts. And you don't play Fury Belts now because you need to play 4 Choice Band. And you don't have space for 4 Choice Band anyway. I really think the deck's quite bad. And I played a lot of games with Vikabulu. Like, I played over 100 games with Vikabulu because I thought it was, post-rotation, one of the best decks we had because it already didn't play Versus Seekers. And I was like, well, this lost literally nothing. So I tested a lot of Vikabulu, and I know how bad it is now. Tord has played plenty more games than me, of course. I mean, I would say that testing 100 games of a deck is still on the high side for a lot of players. But players like Mark and Tord are in another league. I think I would have to quit my job if I wanted to play as many games as they play, which is something I want to do maybe soon. But that's a story for another day, I guess. 100 is enough to know that Vikabulu is not consistent, you know? New era. I know, trust me, I'm getting on to this era. I'm ready to basically spend as much time as I physically can playing Pokemon or thinking about Pokemon. I already do it a lot, but Joe, you need results to quit. Cheers, Deadly B. Metagross, good fire. I don't think Tord will play Bulu, unless it's Bulu Zoroark Elixirs or some random jank. What the hell is good about Metagross? I don't know. Okay, let's move on to weaknesses. Exploitable weaknesses. 2-hit KO deck. Or, okay. Limited damage output. Special energy reliance. Kind of. Ability lock can still hurt it. Cheers, Logan, for stopping by. Who said I was going to pair Bulu with Vika? Yeah, I've tried Bulu Laurantis. I tried it last week and I tried it again today, and it's still really bad. Don't worry, I tried. Not quite 100 games. It took me a lot less to know that it's bad. So, Gardy also doesn't appreciate O-hit KOs, but there's very few things that can do that. Ability lock. I mean, it feels like I'm really just saying obvious stuff here, but it's really important to outline the themes that go across all decks, basically. Oh, hold on. Devolve Splash Spread is still really important to be aware of, even though like this plays Mime, this plays lots of heal. It's still something that we have to be aware of. Not saying Espeon Wob, just you wait. What's the best ability lock in the format right now, huh? Could it be Wob? Who knows? Strafe decks into Wob. Are they back? Is it finally time? No. Okay. Sorry, Desi. Really hates ability lock. Really hates Devolve. I think one of the issues about Devolve was a lot of people were reliant on Potown to do Devolve plays, but we can try. Oh yeah, stage 2. Oh dear, Wob. Yes, it's a Joe stream. Stage 2s. I mean, I'm not even going to say stage 2s as a weakness for Desi Zoro, because you have trade to get you into all your stuff, so you actually get into Decidueyes consistently. And still, like, they're supplementary. You don't need to get one on turn 2 to be good. Like, I know it's kind of the same for Gardy. You just sit there and beacon a bunch. But, you attack with your stage 2s every time. Whereas Desi Zoro, you attack, like, once, maybe twice with the Decidueye. And that's really with the GX attack, mainly to recycle good stuff. So, Codex. You can see where we're going with this. And yeah, special energy reliant. Really special energy reliant, this one. This is way more so than Zoropod. Silvally, special energy reliance. So we're already seeing, you know, Zoropod plays E-Hammer and puzzles, and you can see exactly why it's so insane right now. Not Devolve. What else is it bad against? I mean, this is a lot less bad against O-hit KO decks, because I mean, I guess we can say variable damage output. I mean, it's more of an O-hit KO deck than some of the other stuff we have on here. Like, there's nothing actively bad against Silvally. I just think that it's not as consistent as the other decks that we have in the format right now. Like, this is actually, like, from how it looks in terms of strengths compared to its weaknesses, it actually looks, like, really good. So, weaknesses, Gallade. I mean, Gallade is a weakness, but it depends how you, like, tech out your list. We can... I mean, that's the same... You can say exactly the same thing about Zoroark, right? Oh, it's weak to Gallade. That's why everyone didn't think that Zoroark was insane when it first came out. AJ, thanks so much for following. You can say exactly the same thing for Silvally, right? But it depends, like... You have lots of other attackers that you can use. You can try using the Mewtwo. Mewtwo Kukui plays to one-hit it. Lol. Most attackers need multiple attachments. I guess it's, high energy costs. Which is yeah, in terms of attachments, it's annoying, and in terms of Guardy, it's kind of annoying. Do they have a draw engine? No, that's one of the issues, actually. Lack of draw power. I think some of the successful Silvallis were playing Zoroark. That's something I want to explore, but it's still multiple stage 1s, which is a bit weird. In a way, it's almost like a counter Zoroark deck. I don't know. It's weird. But you only really have space for like a 2-2 Zoroark. I don't think you have space for thicker. Unless you go to just like a 2-2 Silvally and like 2 Fighting Memory just for the sake of winning Mirror. Which could be really reasonable, to be fair. They've been trying out the Volk Silvally list. I think it's a non-starter. Just because you won't beat Guardy. Ta-da! I'll save you some time. Silvally don't draw cards. That's true. That Silvally line that's on your board could be just a Zoroark line that's on your board. But I definitely think this is a deck that I need to explore more, because in a similar way to how Zoroark can have a shell of like 40 cards and then you tech it out how you want to, I think Silvally can be very similar. And it inherently has answers to these two decks if you just play Metal Energy and the tools. So potentially there's definitely something here. It's just figuring out the draw engine. I don't know if an Octillery line is the best place to go. If you can only play 2-2 Zoroark, is it better just to play a 1-1 Octillery? I don't know. Maybe it is. Tool line is an issue, but I mean, in a format like this, is it actually unreasonable to play 3 Fighting Memories? I'm not even sure if it's unreasonable anymore. People just kind of jammed 2 in because they thought, oh, maybe I'll face a Zoroark, but now you know you'll face Zoroark. So Zoroark line, similar to how Sosa and Grafton played it. Yeah, that's kind of the idea I'm thinking. But maybe we could flip-flop it the other way around. Maybe you just play a 2-2 Silvally and a 3-3 Zoro instead of the 3-3 Silvally and a 2-2 Zoro. I think you make it, again, a more Zoroark focus so that you can draw into your Silvally combo. Maybe that's the plan. Obviously, it's slower and you need to play more energies in your deck again. And you need to play Tina promo, and it's probably space-wise not efficient. But I really like the idea of Silvally. I think it's one that I'll definitely continue to work with. Makes you worse against fighting. Yeah, kind of. But at the same time, you can play Psychic Memory if you want to. If there's space, you can play Puzzles and just like 2 of each memory card again. Or 2 and 1 Psychic one. I don't know. I need to work it out. But I think it's pretty interesting. The GX attack is hard to avoid. Definitely hard to avoid for Zoroark lists. So you don't always need to hit a Fighting Memory to get a 1-hit KO. Interesting. I think as we've worked through the strengths and weaknesses, it feels like a Silvally plus Zoroark could be better than maybe even Crabrawler Zoro. Did I just say that out loud? What? I'm joking. But yeah. You can just play Evo Mewtwo, but Evo Mewtwo doesn't actually one-shot Gallades. And if you're going to be playing things like the memory cards, I don't think you'll have space for the E-Hammers, which is a little bit awkward. So you would have to play Mewtwo plus Kukuis, which is, again, a little bit awkward. But we can see. Okay. Weaknesses of Volk. High energy costs. Super ability reliant. We'll just put ability lock, sure. Again, it doesn't really have much of a like comeback mechanic, really, from N, other than Oranguru, and that's still kind of weak. It feels like in the format you really want to be playing Octillery or Zoroark right now to N-proof. I think Oranguru is not really enough. Are there any other big flaws from Volk? I don't think there's too much. I mean, you can say the weakness to Greninja, but I think it's actually really close matchup, especially if they play Ho-Oh. Like, it's only really, like, fairly bad against Guardy, but I would say it's only, like, 60% in Guardy's favour. Weak late game? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm alluding to, so they are fat. They are chunky. Lack of N-proofing, proofing. Morphing mechanic. Because one of the main reasons we went to a Starmie build in the first place, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but the main reason was because of Garbodor Drampa that we started to not play energy retrievals. Because way back in Worlds, don't forget, there was the lists that came 11th and 12th, I believe it was. They played like 4 copies of energy retrieval. And there's nothing stopping us from going back to high item counts now that Garbodor is a lot less popular. So we could go to like 4 retrieval again and play Octillery to have a much better late game. So that could be something we go towards. I loved playing Volk with Octillery. If you look back at some of our lists for Volk, a lot of them had Octillery. Because, I don't know, maybe we go back to Brooklet Hill. Because Brooklet Hill is also really good. If you can lead Baby Volk, you like are way more likely to get 1-hit KOs on the 60 HP stuff if you play Brooklet Hill. And after turn like 2, you actually get your Remoraid down and start setting up for the late game. Puke Brooklet. Yeah, I saw that. I heard about that list that did well with 4 letters. I think that's a little crazy, but deck thinning is still deck thinning, right? Volk Zoro. I mean, probably not, but maybe. I'm not going to rule it out. Anything with Zoro is actually a reasonable consideration. Not anything. Not Greninja Zoro, but I mean, Greninja does lack a draw engine, right? Clunk City. But no, seriously. I don't know. What can I say about Greninja? Stage 3 deck. I'm questing your Volk choice? Do you mean questioning? Yeah, ability lock. Okay, that'll do. That's all we need? Sure. Oh, you're questioning why Volk? I mean, Volk is fine. There's nothing hugely wrong with Volk. We can make changes to Volk. Like I'm saying, we just need to adapt. There's nothing wrong with Ipa's list that came top 8. But I'm saying one of the reasons why I wouldn't play Volk in the format, and I still wouldn't play Volk in the format, is Guardy is still a concern matchup for me, and it still can easily be 3 of your rounds. So no, we don't have cheers on the channel just yet, man. I'm working on it. That's why we're here on a Monday night for once. But yeah, I feel like if we want to improve our Guardy and in general improve not losing to N, potentially Octillery is the way to go. But at the same time, there's Zoroark that can just Guzma up the Octillery, and do you really want to be putting spaces for 2 Remoraiders on your board? Almost definitely not as a Volk deck. I don't know. Okay. Weaknesses of Buzz, Lycanroc. Mewtwo is a common tech, I guess is something we can say is an issue. Psychic weakness, we'll just put this. Soft energy acceleration. Like it's not guaranteed. Variable. It is special energy focused, don't forget. And E-Hammer's actually really big against this deck. Even though Mewtwo is the thing you want to be proactively attacking with, you can still rock Golisopod and combine it with E-Hammers and slow them down a bunch. Oh yeah, just weaknesses in general because of the Lycanroc. Okay. I think it's almost like combo focus as well. Some decks just don't care about spread. Oh, I should put Devolve in here actually as a strength. So it's weird, there's a lot of decks that are weak to Devolve, but the decks that actually play Devolve aren't that strong right now. Drampa, maybe still our best Devolve thing, but it's very Potown reliant, and when Zoroark can and probably will play 3 to 4 blowers, Potown's a lot less scary. Gardy playing, well, I played double blower and double parallel at the weekend, and I didn't regret that at all. I think that would be the way I would play it in future, because double parallel is actually really dirty. So just having outs to Potown means that Devolve was way less good. I also played against a Buzzwole at the weekend that had high Potown, and I didn't even play Mime at the weekend, and I was able to win. Mime is also common, yeah. Mr. Mime on the radar right now, at least. Definitely in Zoropod, people will net deck towards, and there's no reason not to, because it's actually insane. So, like, I saw lots of people piloting it, and just because you access so many cards, you don't have to be the best player in the world to still have results with Zoropod, just because literally you can't really misplay with a deck when it's like sat there right in front of you, like, I should acerola this 150 damage and reattach an energy. Let's do that. And it's like, oh man, anyone can do kind of well with the deck. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Tord, of course, because he played it expertly and created the deck, but I'm saying that anyone can do fairly well with Zoroark variants just because you draw way too many cards. It is such a ridiculous advantage. That's the whole point, right? The deck has hand advantage as its main win condition. Okay. Weaknesses of Drampa Garb. Zoroark. Like, I don't know, man. It just gets special energy reliant. No energy acceleration, so it really hurts them to get pegged back. What's also bad? Potown never sticks regardless. Yeah, that's sort of the issue. Too much healing right now. Only 180 damage cap. As if 180 is not enough in the format these days. What a weird thing. Weak to late game N. Yeah, kind of. So, no N proofing. Proof her. Proofing. No N proofing. Okay, Glisspod Garb. Also, no N proofing. This is one of the biggest reasons why the deck loses. More often than not, it's Glisspod Garbodor players themselves who go too aggressive with the deck and end up going 3 or 4 prizes ahead too early and then getting N to jank and losing. Whereas you need to let your opponent in the game with Glisspod Garbodor if you want to win. Your whole area is pretty much Volk and you don't know what to play. Your whole area is Volk and you're not considering Gardevoir. My goodness. Not having things to help you out of late game N is way more important than it's given credit. Yeah, it's basically the tale of the top 8 was that every deck had either Zoroark or Octillery, apart from Silvally, which had Oranguru. Miss Magius is an N? No, I think he's talking about the Miss Magius that has Chaos Wheel. Volk beats Gardy. Oh, Eeper. Oh, Eeper. Come on, man. I think you'd even say that it's not a favourable matchup. Even how your weekend's gone. It's a hard sell to tell me that Volk is favourable against Guardy. At least your Volk. So damage cap again is an issue. Weakness is way less covered in this variant. Should you play Espeon in the Buzz Lycanroc deck? It's a really hard one to say. I would say that most people will be playing Mime, so probably not. But I don't think I would play Buzz Lycanroc. From looking at the weaknesses, I wouldn't play the deck. I would maybe play a different Buzzwole variant, or maybe just not play Buzzwole at all. What's my opinion on Heatmore Raichu? I think there's probably too much stand-in Zoroark and too many decks. Well, this plays for Guzma and Puzzles, so that's probably an issue. Guardy can GX attack back its Guzmas as well, which is something that has to be thought about. Decidueye should beat it just by pinging. Greninja, if it leads Froakie, it should beat it more often than not. I don't know. I feel like it probably has a pretty big stack of bad matchups. But this is me disrespecting the deck quite heavily. There's always the chance of players losing just because they draw badly for too long, they have a painful Sycamore because they get impatient, or just because they feel the pressure of the Heatmore just doing handiworks for like 2 turns in a row. People get impatient and they're like, oh, I might as well Sycamore my hand. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. This is probably one of the best evolved decks. You're right. That's a really big point. Thought Buzzwole was OP. I mean, as you know, I was testing a lot of Buzzwole. It was a thing that I turned my attention to. But it turns out Buzzwole is also just super easily countered, which is a shame. And it's actually not the Garbodor that everyone said when they saw Buzzwole. They're like, lol, Psychic Weak, it loses to Garbodor. It's actually more like it loses to a Mewtwo, which is just hilarious. Is Buzz Reggie Pseudo Zygarde better than Buzz? I don't know where to begin with that question. Don't know where to begin with that question. Okay, weaknesses from Vika Bulu. Stage 2, Jank Town. Ability lock. Lack of draw engine. Host Lazzle is a one-hit KO deck, but it requires way more energy than Volk. I would still say that Volk is the best fire one-hit KO deck. Counterbox, we can get onto the decks that will we'll basically put them through a gauntlet of saying, like, how do we beat these two decks? Okay, if these two are cleared, which, you know, straight off the bat, not many decks will clear these 2 stages, then you start looking down the list of how we can fix these things realistically. Metagross, stage 2, ability lock, damage output unless Solgaleo. And I don't really respect Solgaleo in Metagross because it's 2 stage 2s. It's so Exodia that it's actually unreal. I don't respect it. Like, everyone says, like, oh, but if you just set up the Solgaleo, you one-hit everything, and I can't win. But how did you let someone set up 4 stage 2s against you? Like, come on. Surely you can prevent that from happening. Surely. Solgaleo is good by itself. Yeah, I don't disrespect Solgaleo on its own. That's something completely different. I think something like a Solgaleo Rayquaza deck, where you're trying, or Solgaleo Laurantis, like how we saw it previously built. I respect that probably more than Metagross, as in with Solgaleo. So, yeah. For Vikabulu, what would I play? I would play a Mew for sure. I don't think I'd play Coco. I think I would play. I think Kukui is the biggest tech you can play in Vikabulu. I would just play High Choice Band and Kukui's, and yeah, Clefairy seems fine as well. Solgaleo will be good, that's very true. It's just maybe not right now. Okay, so we've been through a few things. Not Laurantis. Yeah, I know, I'm just saying that that's how it was once built. I don't think Laurantis is the best way to play Solgaleo either. I'm just saying, you know, Solgaleo with an accelerator. So, now that we've done this, we want to see trends. Trends in the format. Evolution decks everywhere. Abilities running riot right now. So straight off the bat we think maybe a new Garbodor variant needs to be established. Or maybe devolving, you know, one of the best devolved decks right here. Or maybe a new devolved deck is something that we're going to come out with. O-hit KOs beat many decks also. Or let's say lots of tanking / healing approaches. Lots and lots of those. Lots of those. Special energies everywhere. These are the big things. Zoroark. Oh baby. So how do we exploit this? So ways to exploit it. Play Devolve. Play all basic energy decks. Ability lock. Oh wait. There's more trends here. Have an N-proofing mechanic. The best decks need to have those. Solgaleo, Magnezone, Metagross, Bastiodon looks good. Chimecho should be considered. Maybe something like Decidueye. Desi Chimecho. Let's build it. So this is super specific at this point. We need to come up with a way to devolve people that isn't relying on things like Tapu Koko, or if it is reliant on Tapu Koko, we combine it with ability lock to get around Mime, and we don't have to rely on Potown. Like we can't rely on Potown. It could be a part of the deck, but it can't be reliant on the Potown. Playdex. To avoid E-Hammer. Or play E-Hammer ourselves. Ability lock, gonna be pretty good. Yeah, I've said trends of the game is having a great end-proofing mechanic. Which also, that's one of the main reasons why ability lock may not be working. Is because if you lock yourself out of abilities, you don't have this end proofing mechanic, which is really bad. Right, I need to run to the toilet quickly. Lots of good discussion happening though, guys. Ugh. Someone said Espeon Garb does all of this. Interesting. Has a devolve approach. Plays all basic energy. Well, that's not true. Ability lock. Hit KO deck. Most importantly is that you need to actually be consistent right now. And that's so hard. This is one of the things, when we get into some of these wacky things that tick some of these boxes, it has to do it consistently, because it has to compete with optimal turns from Zoroark decks every time. Like, you have to beat an optimal setup every time. That's what's so crazy. Also, you can adopt your own acerola approach. Seeing as though the deck, the format is mainly 2-hit KO based, I think Volk being the main 1-hit KO deck, in theory Silvally is a 1-hit KO deck, in theory Bulu is. But adopting your own acerola approach, if you're not a 1-hit KO deck, is also really viable right now, because we've seen that, you know, a lot of the other good decks are healing decks, right? Gorgeist can hit 260, that's true. Umbra and Wob spread, easy. All lines point to Vika Bulu with an auxiliary line. Is that true? Is that right? So, also, key weaknesses to hit: fighting, fire. Oh, sorry. We want to hit dark. We want to hit grass. Wait. What am I saying? What am I saying? Yeah, fine. Okay. We want to hit dark for weakness. We want to hit grass for weakness. We want to hit fairy for weakness. You think Delinquent can really punish decks in the moment? I think when there's Zoroark decks, it's kind of not that great. And if we look at stadiums right now, that's one of the issues. Zoro doesn't play its own stadiums, so you'd have to really commit a lot of slots towards a Delinquent approach. It's only really the Sylveon Mill deck that can commit to that approach. Gardy plays like 1 to 2 parallels. This doesn't play any. This doesn't play any. This plays sometimes Brooklet, sometimes nothing. This plays Brooklet. This plays Brooklet. Potown, nothing, nothing, nothing. So stadiums themselves aren't, like, you'd have to set up your own Delinquent every time, which isn't great if you can't draw cards. So it could only really be Zoroark that adopts Delinquent, or the Sylveon decks. Plus, there's a lot of decks, as we can see, that are playing Octillery or Zoroark, so you'll normally draw out of it. So the Delinquent, although would be punishing resource-wise, wouldn't completely wall them out of the game. That's kind of the issue. So, with these in mind, we want to list a few decks that we want to have a look at that can fit the bill here. So, Laurantis Bulu was one of the things that I first looked at. Because, as I've already stated, Bulu is really good right now. Especially if you have the promo Laurantis, you can hit 230 whilst discarding energy from yourself, so you're very difficult to get knocked out by Gardy. That's something I looked into. I can get my list up actually and show you what I was testing. It really doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And this is sort of one of the issues with like theory versus IRL, but this was one of the things where I was like, this is a one-hit KO deck that has good energy acceleration, that isn't a stage 2 deck, which has Octillery. It ticked a lot of boxes for me, but it wasn't consistent, so it's fine. But yeah, so I tested with Laurantis Bulu over the weekend, the idea being that Nature's Judgment is one of the best attacks in the game, especially when you combine it with Sunny Day. It played like the 4 choice bands, stuff like that, so even though this shell is like pretty simple and it has energy acceleration from Flower Supply and from Max Elixir, Flower Supply is also really good in the format with 60 HP basics if you are able to establish both on turn 2, which actually isn't unreasonable with Evo Sodas and Ultra Ball and stuff. But yeah, this was one of the ones that is like a theory deck rather than really good. I may still keep working on this, maybe in the sidelines, but I think I'm going to drop it at this point. One of the best things about this deck is that even going second, you get extra acceleration from Synthesis. You can do it to your Bulu, and then this gets knocked out, and then you get one into the discard pile for your Flower Supply. That's pretty neat, but yeah, this doesn't work. This is the theory that NAU dudes did for the Jank box. Oh my god, that was... I mean, when you compare NA to EU, and then you look at their secret deck compared to Euro's secret deck, that was like the most satisfying thing I think I've ever witnessed. Bulu's the weakest link of the Laurantis deck. Well, you have no damage output if you don't play Bulu. We have like a healthy competition going on between NA and EU. Unfortunately, Tord is keeping us in that race. Or keeping the competition lively. But seeing their secret deck compared to ours was just like so great. So Silvally is the next one. And we go Zoroark Metals. And I think one of the key things here is there's going to be a lot of Zoroark builds here. I'm going to start listing more stuff. Zoroark Crabs, aka Lutz Box. What else do we think could be defining? So I think adaptations of Volk, so like Volk plus Octo, Bulu plus Octo. I don't think there's space for Bulu plus Octo personally, and it's a stage 2. What else are we thinking? We need to find a good way to actually develop Garbodor. Toward then NA, then EU. That's very true. He's like the last Jedi. Shining Venusaur, Genesect. I think some of these are some of the more promising. Well, this isn't promising, but I just had it. I guess I'll keep it in here just for like the theory crafts. Zoro counters is actually fine. I actually built a 60 earlier, and it just looks like Zoroark Gliscopod, but worse, I'll be honest, but it may win Mirror, so... Yeah, Benji, you can be thrown in there as well. You're better than EU and NA. You also won the Anaheim Open, so you're also campaigning to jump over all the Americanos. Solgaleo Zoroark. Oh yeah, we should have Solgaleo. Solgaleo. And now let's just jump into PTCGO, and I want to look at the card pool. So this is generally going to be like just sifting through what we have to play with, and we'll show not owned, and we want to highlight things that could be important. So we want to look at key cards that could stand out, that are going to be strong. So there may be a weighted search towards things that can one-hit KO, things that are... oh, hold on, I should put Xerneas back in here. Oh, baby. Xerneas Break is back. So we want to just start looking for... keeping a special eye out for one-hit KO cards. Does this place counters? Oh, it's counters. It gets around Mr. Mime. Oh boy, counter energy Gengar. Pumpkin Bomb. We can throw that down there. Bomb Squad. If I could ever spell words. Really unsure about the Buzzwole. How this has to, there has to be a way that we can unlock this to be really good against some of the Zoroark stuff, but it feels like having a one card answer that they can always draw into is just so hideous. Is new Gengar playable with anything? I don't think so. I think if you're setting up multiple stage 2s, you should be playing Gardevoir in general as a policy. Oh, I want to put Glade.Tittery down as like... and also Glade Zoroark. Something our Discord was talking about. Now, if you're going to play Venusaur, is Venusaur Bulu worse than Vika Bulu? Yes. But if we go for like Devolve plays with Pike, ooh, who knows? Joking. What are the themes? Oh, we want to put the Sylveon Mill down here. And we'll start looking at things that we can play. The best route against Zoroark is 2 Energy Zygarde, but they have Golisopod. They have Golisopod. Umbreon Strafe. Maybe. But also, very much maybe not. Hooper to block GX attacks. They have outs to safeguard. They again have Mewtwo that they can ace a Roller Loop and Puzzle Loop and E-Hammer Loop. Unfortunately. This is actually an interesting card that I was looking at. It's a fighting card that isn't weak to grass, which is pretty important actually. And for 2 energy you can one-hit KO Zoroarks, which is pretty cool. And Psychic Weakness is way less awkward than it used to be if Garbodor's reducing in play. And I know this is a meme, but this is actually way better than it used to be. I'm not saying it's good, I'm just saying it's a non-grass weak fighting Pokemon, which is a category that we're looking for. This is just, you know, obviously I'm not going to play this, but it's also actually really good against Zoro because you have the Machoke, fun fact. So this maybe one to look out for, but no. But a category of something that can survive hits. Like, this is why we look at Crabominal. It's got 140 HP, so it can't be one-shot by Gliscod or Zoroark without the help of Kukui, which, spoiler, could very much be going back into their list. So yeah, this feels like a really good card to counter the deck. But I think it's an easy cut to go from 4 to 3 field blowers, play a Kukui, and it gets a lot better. Komo is now really good, guys. Annoyingly, Mewtwo can't one-shot Crab even with Kukui, so that's pretty good. He's pretty annoying, but you can KO with Golisopod with the GX attack and with Kukui, so I think that's something you have to play in Zoropod now. I know it was something that Benji tested a lot, and he liked it regardless. It's also really good for Lele KOing, so I think that will go into the list for future. Marshadow I don't think is that strong. Like, what basic attacking decks do we have? What can we steal? Like, nothing really. Don't really want to play it in Volk. Don't play stage 2s. Yeah, that's also a policy I want to try and avoid as much as possible. Weavile could have been good, but Mr. Mime's a one-card answer. You could potentially play Weavile Muck. And when I say potentially, I mean don't do it. Item lock, that's got to be good, right? Stop Z Hammer. Oh yeah, we don't have DDE. Forget it. Could just play Passimian. Passimian should very much lose to Guardy. Should very much lose to Volk. Should lose to Frogs. Should lose to Vikabulu. Should lose to Metagross. There's a lot that Passimian can't beat. Muck takes abilities away from only the basic Pokemon, so you won't be hitting the Leles or the Mr. Mime, but you'll still be hitting your own Muck and the Zoroarks. Passimian Metagross, you can thank me later. Excellent. Hey, thanks so much for watching. How many people are in here right now? Oh, I can't look at it without messing up my own screen capture. We'll look at it later. What else have we got here? Miratex? Question mark? Probably not. Sivandra, thanks so much for following as well. Glad you can make it. I was thinking, is Turtonator a good one-of? So we went to a League Cup this weekend, and we had the winner of the tournament was Laura Durkin, and one of the things we were saying about playing the mirror match for Gliscod Zoroark was that you can play a 4-face Acerola, which was good, but I also suggested Turtonator because you can shell trap, and that's really annoying to get around for Gliscod Zoroarks, but it's actually not that annoying at all. The 20 is not relevant enough. You only play a couple of choice bands, so the 50 is not relevant enough either a lot of the time. Seeing as though you're capped at like 150 on your Zoroarks themselves, so they don't have to Acerola, and if they don't have to Acerola, it means they can Guzma, so they Guzma around Shell Trap too often. So I thought this was good for Mirror, but it's not actually very good. And also they always E-Hammer, which is annoying. So yeah, flawed thinking. Sorry, Laura. But yeah. Is this the Warlord we've all been looking for, guys? Wishy-washy mill. It got top 8 in expanded. Why not standard? This can do 60 to everything. Oh boy. What about Salazzle? I don't know. I really don't know. Is that a Christmas jumper? Not really. It's sort of Christmassy. These are like snowflakey things. This isn't like my full-on Christmas jumper. I have a few Christmas jumpers that I actually like really love. Christmas is like my favorite time of the year because there's no sunlight, which is great for me, and also I get to wear some awesome Christmas jumpers. This is like my least Christmassy Christmas jumper. So I thought, seeing as though it's still just about November, I won't go all out, but as soon as December, I'll be in the full Christmas jumper look. It'll be great. Tapu Coco. Gingers have no souls. Bit harsh. Looks straight out of the Topshop catalogue. Oh, it's Dark Week, never mind. Worse than Crabrawler. Special energy focused. Is there actually anything in this game that can be good? So, Sylveon Mill. So, we probably lose to the Silvally stuff if they're still playing metals. Guardy's still probably difficult. Just because they have a huge amount of reload. I don't know, they can't really one-hit KO the Sylveon. If you go full, like, puzzles, max potion, acerola. I think this is a good time to actually look at that Sylveon list. So this was the Sylveon list that will won a League Cup, right? There's a few counts that are pretty weird. I don't really agree with a 4-4 line of Sylveon. Surely a 4-3 is correct, right? 12 energy. Dumbbells, baby. Don't really understand the dumbbells when there's so much field blower. I guess you force it. One counter catcher. Lots of hammers, lots of max potions. Lusamine for delinquent spam is pretty cool. I can't remember who played this. Is it in the credits? It'll be on the Facebook, but I don't want to jump to Facebook. Let me turn off display capture and I'll find out for you. Don't want to show off my Facebook because I've got some convos going on. Oh, Xander Bennett. There you go. Someone would know. Yeah, it was already in chat. Whoops. Okay. Xander's like a really good player who does love a kooky deck. Only one N is really interesting. Only one draw supporter is really interesting. This surely has a really weak early game. Well, I mean, look at your opening handouts. Your opening handouts is 12 energy. 12, 13, 14, 15. That's not actually terrible to not lose. Yeah, I guess it's fine. Yeah, but the draw support of Beach is huge, right? In comparison. Oh, savage. He needs to clean himself up before making videos. I've had a lot of videos where I've just woken up and my hair's all over the shop and look ridiculous, but Squeaky's he's a good guy.
Just
let's get out of here though. Oops, that one. So yeah, Sylveon. Like, let's see what's it's bad against, right? It's bad against the Silvally. Bad against Volk. How good is its Frogs? Probably not great, right? Parallel Delinquent spam probably does beat Frogs. More often than not. I think it would be Silvally and Guardy would be the big reasons why it would struggle. And Volk. Volk and Silvally, the two huge reasons why it should struggle. And Guardy being also maybe an issue. So I'm still not sold on the Sylveon, so that's got to go. Let's instead of getting it gone, we'll read out the ones that we've sort of like highlighted as options, but probably not great. Zoro counters, I kind of like scraped up a list for Zoro counters earlier today. I think I already had one here, but I need to change it like drastically from what I had. Let me make my changes. I've got it here somewhere. Aha! Okay, so it's way more like Tords, right? The Tord shell, but with different stuff in it. Okay, so we played one of these, and one of these is our free retreater. Mr. Mime. 18, yep. 7 energy, puzzles. What do I have too much of? These. I think this is what I was looking at. What's this madness you've stumbled into? So yeah, basically my overall outlook on Zoro counters is that it probably is just like a less proactive Zoro pod, because you don't actually gain any spaces anywhere. Whitetown map, because we have a million very important one-offs for different matchups. Like, if you don't have this in the right matchup or this in the right matchup, you don't actually, like, win ever. Cali Love, thanks so much for following. Why not Marshadow? Mew is kind of our Marshadow. Like, Sudowoodo is a good enough fighting guy, and Mew serves the multiple purpose of helping out against Gallade and also being your free retreater, because we lose the free retreater in Coco, and we don't have floatstones in here. So it's really important to have a free retreater. So and Marshadow can't use counter energy. That's also true. Where's the Silvally Volk? It is up here. My wacky Silvally Volk list. I've pretty much written it off just because its Guardy isn't winnable enough, and you can't really lose Guardy. You know, it's not a good policy to lose Guardy. But this was pretty fun to start playing around and building. So, where are we? Back to our spreadsheet. Zoro counters, I'm going to read out. I think if you're going to play Zoro counters, just play Zoro Pod. I think you might have a slightly favourable Zoro Pod matchup if you play Zoro counters, but I still think it's super slight. Not enough to warrant it. So Lutz box we've sort of looked at already. I think this could be a goer, you know. I think this could be, where was it? Zoro Crabs. This could be one we need to explore a little bit more. Joe, you can't see? Oh, oh, I see. I forgot to put this back. Yeah, so Zoro counters, I've read it out. Moving on to Lutz box, I think this one is green as one to continue. I don't know about my list. I haven't seen Mark's yet. I'll have to talk to him about his. For me, yeah, I agree that Lutz box is worse against Guardy. Shoving the crab in their face is a lot less effective than shoving the Golisopod in their face, because if you shove a crab in their face, they realistically can max potion and KO in the same turn. Like, it's actually not that hard for them to do it. Whereas if you play Golisopod, going for the 2-hit approach is way better because they can't stack 6 energy on the turn that they max potion. So if you play Golisopod, it's a win-win. If you play Crab, you open the door for them to draw, you know, above average and then just start running through you quite annoyingly. So fixing the Guardy is an issue for this list, but if you're expecting tons of Zoro, this could be a goer. So this is one we need to work on a little bit more. And again, I need to iron out the list more. This was literally a theory craft like 10 minutes before it happened. Oh my goodness, Kabutops88 has donated £11.26. That is incredible. Thanks so much, Kabutops. That is amazing. Thank you. That's awesome. So yeah, Lutz box. Maybe we'll just orange it. Maybe it's one that still needs ironing the creases out, but in a very like lazy approach, you're improving your Zoro matchup in what would otherwise be a mirror, and that's, you know, not a bad thing. You also improve your Silvally matchup, which is probably important. Why is it called Lutz box? Because you came up with it, man. Surely. Yeah. It's just Zoro count. It's just So Silvally Zoro is something we want to look at. I think I have a Silvally somewhere up here. Because I don't have Celesteelas. So first of all, I'm taking out that Turtonator because it didn't work in the other list, so why should it work in this one? We're going to make room for Zoroarks, and we're going to thin down the Silvally line to 2-2, so we can play 3-3 Zoroark. Because he is the creme de la creme. And this could also be a way that we, you know, quote-unquote win the mirror. So I think elixirs may have to be taken out. And we reduce our energy to something like this. We can draw into cards way better. Special charge may still be necessary. Tubler may need to go up. I think I want to play 3 of these and only 2 of these. Do we actually need choice band at all? Moonblast getting 210 is good. Okay, we can do that. And also 120 on Turbo Arms is actually really insane. No elixir. I'm not sure if I have space for the elixirs for what we want in here. We'll start off without elixirs and we'll see what we need to add. Bear in mind, we'll main Zoroark a lot more in certain matchups. Like, we still probably do play a couple of Acerola, but only a couple. Does the Acerola even make sense, actually? Because we want to be way more... We want to be the aggressor, right? There's no point in us stalemating them when they have more Acerolas. We should checkmate them with more damage. So yeah, maybe elixirs come back in. I don't think Drampa makes sense. Maybe just 3 copies of Elixir. It's probably not super consistent, but healing is for the weak. Maybe we can get away with 2 copies if we have trade. Then we can go back to this and play 3 elixirs. 3 Imakuni. Okay, let's go back to elixirs. Maybe we can, let me take off display capture quickly, and we can head over to Limitless and look at the list that did well in London. That's probably what we should be doing right now. Okay. So, let's look at Grafton's list. Dodger and Weinstein, Jesus. Okay, so I'm way happier with like the thicker line of the Zoroark than the Silvally. I think that's definitely correct. Giratina promo is something we need to make space for. 1 Mallow. Yeah, we can do the Sycamore Mallow cut. That seems fine. Only 2 Blower seems pretty greedy. God, is this rolling right? Excellent. 8 and 4. See, that's pretty low. And he didn't play any elixirs. I'm also pretty certain that Sosa didn't play elixirs either. Played Sizzle, Kartana. Completely unrelated, what deck do I play in Hearthstone? I play Big Priest and Big Druid. Oh baby. Tina promo is jank. Well, we can't accept a loss in this game. That's what we don't want to do. We're trying to make the perfect deck. And if we want to not lose to frogs, we need to unfortunately play that. It struggles against Zoropod. The Sizzle stuff is just cute. I think Celesteela does more than Scizor in many occasions. Did we go super cute with Elixir and only play 2? Is that super crazy? Oh, Frogs? Yeah, Frogs does struggle with it. It's not actually its hardest matchup, believe it or not. Can we get away with only 2 Field Blowers? Parallel? How annoying is Parallel for this deck? I mean, really, we only need to main Registeel, Celesteela, right? And then we have Zoroarks for the rest of the board. We don't really need Silvally at all against Gardy, apart from early turns. Have I tried building Buzz Owls? No, not yet. Jason said it best, no one can beat the entire field. Well, I think Tord's deck does beat the entire field right now, and has made us have this whole conversation for what's already been 2 hours, and we're still the closest answer we have is bloody crabs. So why listen to Jason when you can listen to Tord? Oh, Tord, £1. Zoropod broken. Love heart. There you go. He said it right there. No more evidence required. I'll take the £1. I'll take it. Do we think we make the space for good old-fashioned whatchamajiggy? Tina? When crabs are the only answer. Lol. When crabs is the best answer. I genuinely think this could be the best answer if we work at it hard enough. Heard Tord's a nice guy. He even knows what intimidating main does. I was listening to that today. It was a really good. I think it was honestly your best interview that you've done so far on the Well, and I think Tord's philosophy on the game is just so great to listen to, and that ability lock was also really funny. I was almost as quick as Shay in like every count as well. I was like, as he would say the word, it would be the word that was the name of the Pokemon coming into my head. I was pretty psyched that I could keep up with Shay in ability lock. there were some really intelligent questions being asked, and obviously Tord went into great depths into his thought process, and it is just so refreshing to listen to. Maybe this is our 60 that we start with. Can I be bothered to make a space for frogs? That's my question. Donated 0.01% of all your London winnings to Joe. It's actually probably a higher percentage because of tax, right? And it was £1, not $1. Oh, baby. Raking it in. Is there any good efficient metal attackers you can just acerola loop? Thanks, Joe. No worries, Tord. No worries. My deck's invalid. I need to get some Celesteelers. There's still like 1 million packs, and I've not bought them IRL yet because they're way too expensive. So I think this one is also like, maybe this is even more green than Lutz box. Because it's already a Zoroark deck, right? We're already playing a fairly thick Zoroark line, and it seems to have answers in like a mirror situation. Can we build Xerneas now? Well, Xerneas doesn't actually change, right? Xerneas is the same. It's just we hope that Guardy players are playing one parallel. If it helps, shall I show you what I played at the weekend? I didn't make cut, but so at the weekend I went to the League Cup, played Guardy because I didn't have access to Zoroarks. So I was very sad face. I also didn't have access to Psychic Rolts, which I would have played, but I didn't have access to them either. After spending 45 minutes looking for Psychic Rolts, I couldn't find them. So I had to play this, but I'll show you what I played. How do I not have two parallels? What's going on? Is this my list? Yeah, this was my 60 for Guardy. I thought it was alright. So I faced a Mirror in round 1, which I won. I faced Solgaleo and Metagross round 2, which I tied. Then I faced Xerneas Break. Double Parallel, Double Glade is pretty nuts against Xerneas Break, so won that. Then I faced in round 1, 2, 3. In round 4, what did I face? Question mark. Oh yeah, in round 4 I faced Ryan Morehouse playing Zoropod, and we had the closest game 1 I think I've had in so long. And it ended up me paralleling when I had only 3 bench Pokemon. When I had 3 bench Pokemon, I had to parallel myself to reduce damage from his own Gliscopod that was stuck active. I was actively leaving a Gardevoir active to just stack, and I would just announce pass, so he couldn't acerola. So his Gliscopod was stuck, and he was doing 10 damage a turn because Parallel was in play for like 3 turns as we were both in a top deck war. He'd already damaged my Tapu Lele heavily, and he brought up the Tapu Lele and damaged it for 120. So my Parallel was then put in again because he like blowed it off. So I put my second Parallel down so that he couldn't choice band to KO the Lele. But then my next top deck was a Tapu Lele that I couldn't play, which would have won me the game. And it turns out that from his trades, he missed the choice band anyway. So I could have won the game if I hadn't done the second Parallel to play around choice band or his puzzles for choice band. But that was like a really close game 1 that I ended up losing. And we were both literally just like looking at each other saying, this is mental, what's going on here? And in game 2, stage 2, things happened, so I just didn't play the game. So yeah, that was my loss. So I was 2-1-1. Then I face Buzzwole Zoroark, and I win that. That was also pretty close. That was pretty cool. I decked myself out and then Twilighted after the turn before missing Twilight when my final 2 cards were my last 2 Fairy Energies. So I still managed to pull it out, which was pretty funny. 2 Parallel definitely helped in that matchup also. 2 Parallel was like MVP. I thought it was really, really good. And then, what was I going to say? Final round. So I'm 3-1-1, need to win to get in. I see that I'm up against Greninja, and I just pretty much rage quit. I just scoop straight away. I couldn't be bothered to even like tie. At the time as well, everyone else in my car was not able to make it to Top Cut, or at least I thought that was the case. It turned out Laura actually faced Connor. I thought they weren't gonna play. I thought we were all just gonna go home. But no, she ended up beating Connor and then just going all the way to the final. So I should have just played out my last round instead of scooping after seeing Frogs. But I just hate Frogs so much anyway that I probably would have lost if he just drew averagely. But that's never the case with Frogs. So yeah, I basically threw away a chance of top 8 just because of trying to leave. But yeah, oh well. I really don't like Gardy. And I definitely won't play it again. At least I got it sort of like out of my system, so I know it's not a contender for like Leipzig for me. And I think this would be the 60 that you probably should play if you're going to Leipzig and you're stuck and you really like Gardy. It's actually still fairly fine against Zoropod. Definitely 2 Parallel, 2 Gallade helps like a lot, because both sides of Parallel are so good. You play this, especially if they're cutting their field blowers down, you play this to stop them GX attacking the Gallade. Especially if you use the Gallade to KO a Zoroark, so they have like less trades to hit everything. Or you just do it to limit your own side for Mindjack not being an option, or limit their side to get rid of other options from them. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I think the deck's fine. It just doesn't suit me at all. I've pulled out some really like cool plays, and it felt powerful when you're set up, but I just hate early turns with this deck. It's so like swingy at times, basically all revolving around this card, which I still hate in the game. But yeah, I should probably save this. Yeah, I don't think Gardy's still like tier 1. It's just not the deck that I would play. Why play a tier 1 deck that has to high roll when you can play the other tier 1 deck that doesn't have to high roll? It has to like roll not bad. So yeah. Volcanion. This is interesting. So if we take Ipa's list, clone it. When's Leipzig? Leipzig's in January. And we're going to make some changes around here to fit in Octillery, and we also want to fit in energy recyclers, right? So we need to make some changes for sure. Octillery being the big thing we need to make room for. No, not that one. We want to play energy retrievals so that we can have the big swing turns more often. Our elixirs are worse, but our big steam up turns are better, right? Guardy's getting one shots anyway, drop the hammers. Sure. So then do we go back up to these counts? I like having high Brooklet plus blower so that we can get around Parallel, which is one of the biggest headaches for you. Sports line seems fine. Do we still play Kiawe? Kiawe is it even good against Sauropod? If you go first, surely it's not bad. I feel everyone gets around Kiawe. Kiawe was mainly in here just for Garbodor variants, right? So we can go back up to high items. maybe we just do this. What do we think about this? We should play Rescue Stretcher over this card. For the auxiliary line. When you don't play Ho-Oh, your Greninja is much worse, but we hope to just tempo out on Greninja like we used to. I guess. Maybe Ho-Oh is worth just for that. Artillery definitely does sound like a good play though. Why play Artillery over Starmie? Because all you want is energy? I mean, it's not really true. Most of the time that's the case, but oftentimes you need things like Guzma. And by playing 3 Retrieval, you're sort of covering the Starmie role. The whole reason people went away from Retrieval to move over to Starmie was to play less item cards, and I feel like now we have free reign to play a large amount of items again. Because you're basically playing Starmie and Oranguru, which is annoying bench space a lot of the time. Here you can just play Octo and Retrievals. Four letters in Starmie. Interesting. I guess you thin the deck that way a little bit more. It's anti-synergy with elixirs. I guess it's more of a sequencing thing rather than like an actual issue. Most of the time you want to pull them out of the deck to put them on the board rather than steam ups. Although it does give you more early pressure when you're trying to get the early power heaters. Do we also want a third floatstone in here? That's something I'm also thinking. So we can actually get the early power heaters more consistently. That was something I found was a bit annoying with this deck, that you only play... Like, although you play full Guzma, the early game switching cards are limited, when power heaters are so important against some of the stage 2s. And even some of the stage 1s. Like, if you can clear a Zorua early game, it's going to be really big for you. Maybe we do this. Don't listen to me, I have no idea. I don't... I mean, it's a brave man who argues with Tord Reklev, you know? But I feel like you do look for more than just... I've lost my train of thought completely because I started reading another... comment. How does this look? It looks like an old-fashioned Volk, but I think that's kind of how we need to change the deck up. Tor doesn't like the crabs. Throw his opinions out the door. Fabulous. How about Glade Octo? Yeah, I can build Glade Octo. So Volk in that state, how does it look? Its guard is still going to be hard, for sure. Zoropod seems reasonable. Desi Zoro, reasonable, maybe not great. Old-fashioned Volk did have Shaman and Hooper. Hey Chelsky, yeah, I'm good, I'm good. Show me a lighter and a crab and you'll donate £20 right now. It actually seems pretty reasonable, you know. So Volk isn't going anywhere? Question mark. Probably stays around. We'll orange it. Glade Octo was requested, so we'll jump to that one, I guess. we will clone this just for speed and efficiency purposes. One. Oh yes. You know it makes sense, team. Don't argue. Don't question it. Puzzle of time. Will this go on YouTube? Maybe. I haven't really thought about it. Who knows? We need Coco in here as well. Coco is actually really important for damage. Kukui is also pretty important for damage. How is Mallow? We don't need Mallow when we have Premonition, right? 3 of these, maybe. I think we do this actually, and we want the 2/2 Octo for sure. It's too important to not play. I don't think we play this because we don't have enough retreating outs to actually make it work. Oh baby, Glade Octillery loses to Guardi anyways. Yeah, it kind of does, right? God damn it, Joe. Luke not happy. All he needs now is a Misty. I mean, you have Premonition Octillery to fetch them, right? Best Pokemon content. Thanks so much. I mean, not right now. But what does this beat? Yeah, let's move on. Good question. Very good question. Do we want more evolution pieces in here? I don't know. Running out of space to write the title that I want. Okay, so after that very simple question, this one could go in the red zone. I think in a similar vein, we'll put Glade Zoro in the red zone. What else are we looking at? Let's go to Solgaleo, because I think a lot of people have their hopes on big 1-hit KO stage 2 deck. Oh, look at it. I have 3. I have 4 IRL. Unreal. Gonna make bonk in a few months' time. I don't even have 4 pepperonis. Rayquabe. I'm just going to start putting... I've not made a list for this, so we'll just sort of see what happens. I'm going to put a load of greedy counts in and we'll strip away. Stage 2. It beats Zoro Crabs. Okay. Metal, energy, Guru. Oh yeah, Guru's a card that somehow didn't get into the deck. There we go. Registeel, is Registeel better than Rayquaza? I need to read this. Ah! Registeel's not quick enough. I made one and insta-deleted it. It was like a week ago. Yeah. Yeah. That happened. Let's do the same again. It was a different meta a week ago, man. Right? I don't know. I'm just throwing cards. Magina for Devolve. Magina for a basic Pokemon that doesn't get knocked out in one hit against Guardy. Okay. I mean, it does get one hit knocked out, but we don't lose the game when it gets knocked out. And it's something you can actually attach energy to with a Soul Burst. New era, boys. Celesteela. I'm not sure about Celesteela. It is tanky. Okay, before we go any further, because everyone's just saying we're going to delete this, let's run down matchups, because I will be deleting this. Don't worry, I've already thought about it and why we should delete this. But first of all, Stage 2 Jank. Second of all, Volk, hideous. Frogs, hideous. Probably Buzzwole variants are also hideous. Even if we play Magina, maybe not hideous, but probably not good. The guard variants are still hideous. I know these are like soft things we have to worry about and not too much anymore, but they're still bad. And even Zoropod, I would argue, is not great for them because you can still stifle setup so efficiently and you can still put damage on the Solgaleos. As long as you're damaging the Solgaleos that have energy on rather than no energy on, it should be fine. So I think Cabalion's way better than Magina. But the Cobalion doesn't help you out against Evolve, which is an underlying issue with the deck. I don't think you have space for both. What do the different colours mean? Sort of like the priority in what you should consider worrying about matchup-wise. So these are definitely the top 2 decks in the format. And then these are like also things you should worry about in a tournament that you could realistically see. Drampa Garbodor's on the decline, but it's still uncertain whether London was an anomaly and whether or not it can come back. I think it's definitely like tier 2 now, not tier 1, but it could still be, you know, tier 2 is still something to worry about. And I think these are decks that some people play for some reason, but I don't know why. No good stage 2 players either. Yeah, so I think just in terms of like, if we go back to our key things that we can target over here, exploiting the trends. The only thing that we exploit is that it's an no-hit KO deck. That's like the only thing we exploit. Healing, I guess, because we would probably fit max potions in, because, you know, surely stage 2s are consistent enough, right? That would be the only thing that we adopt in the entire list. So we will delete this and we'll put it in the red zone. So we're already running out of decks. So far we've only put like 1 deck in green and 2 decks in orange, which are like, orange isn't a bad zone to be in, to be honest. It's just they need to be ironed out and probably need a few games. Our sweet Prince Solgaleo will rise soon. Even Tord will play it. I still think it will have issues. Lots of issues. Not many. You know what? A lot less issues than right now, but still issues. I should probably... Luxbox was funny, but Zoro Crabs. Basically, Crabominable Zoroark. To try and basically just counter Zoropod a little bit. That's the idea. Xerneas Break. Now, Xerneas Break does fit a few categories here. It can tank hits from Zoroarks and Golysopods without Kukui, which is really good. With Kukui, they still can't one-hit KO the Break. They do have Coco that they can spread on us, by the way, but Xerneas Break can also be an O-hit KO deck. It's also consistent, which is a huge factor here. And it can play E-Hammers as well. Typically, it will play E-Hammers. So there's a lot of boxes that Xerneas Break ticks, which is really cool. So Xerneas Break could, in theory, maybe, question mark, return. Now, as we all know, Tamao Cameron tried to play it at Internats and didn't do too great. He adopted a couple of counter energies and Cobalion as his like answer to Guardy Sylveon plea. Obviously didn't work out too well. I haven't actually spoken to him enough to see what his matchups were like. But was this the Xerneas? Oh, it was. It was. Look, I have it. These were counter energies. This was before counter energy was a thing. Great. I can mold this. Excellent. My one concern. So there's kind of two concerns. If people still play plea in Guardy, it's a concern, right? I really prefer just 3 double colorless now that E-Hammer's everywhere. The main concern with with Xerneas is if Guardy still plays plea, which I think a lot of people won't, but there'll still be some people who will. And my second question mark is experience share. Can the deck work without experience share? Because you essentially have to assume that against Zoroark decks, when they can trade every turn, they will trade into Field Blowers, and they will use Field Blowers often. And I was having this conversation with Luke on the way up to the League Cup in the morning. I was basically floating between playing Guardy and playing Xerneas Break again. And the main reason I didn't play Xerneas Break was because I didn't know whether to play 0 EXP share or 4 EXP share. I basically had to think if it's worth playing none because they'll be blowered every time anyway, or going super high so that there will be turns where they miss Field Blower, so EXP share works. And I'm not sure if Xerneas can stand up on its own if it can't have EXP share established, which is a big issue to actually have. So I'm not sure if it will still function, just because there's so much emphasis on Field Blower in the format, and that's really bad. So although it can hit one-hit KOs, I think Zoroark can actually quite easily, even though it's not one-hit KOing every time, especially with resistance, because it can deny EXP shares, it can deny energy quite easily after like 3 turns. And it's whether or not you've got to like 250 damage by that point or not. So it's one that I need to check up on to see whether or not we can play the deck without EXP share, if that makes sense. We can also try and balance it back on our favor with counter energy, but E-Hammer everywhere. Puzzles for E-Hammer, that's a problem. So I feature you on YouTube. Yeah, this is a place marker for you to come back in YouTube. Cheers for stopping by, man. So yeah, I'm not sure if the shell of Xerneas changes to something that looks a little bit more like E-Hammers. Do we even need enhanced? This was another thing I was debating. Do we need enhanced if we're going up against Zoroark? Because the idea isn't really to slow them down attachment-wise, because it doesn't really stop them at all. It should be to try and ramp as much as possible. So, potentially second blower to maybe get rid of... No, maybe not second blower. What was the card I was thinking of playing in here? Oricorio was one that I was debating playing, because I really missed that from an earlier list that I played. But definitely going back to 4 Elixir makes the most sense, because we need to get energies on the board outside of keeping them on the board, if that makes sense. What else do we think we can use to balance out Xerneas? Is it a case of playing counter energies? Maybe it goes to 2 DC, 2 counter energy. Maybe that's something we go for. Feels pretty weird though. And we do sneak in the Cobalion, perhaps. I mean, that feels pretty greedy, but it is pretty interesting. It's one that I need to test more, for sure. But I don't think this is gone, you know. I actually think it could be better than it was looking for London. Because if we look at... what are we actually scared against? Zoropod, this is like the question mark matchup. If we can beat this, it's very appealing. Gardevoir definitely better than it was. Like pre-Parallel Plea, you know. Oh, now that Parallel Plea isn't the most popular, or is unlikely to be the most popular. Once again, Zoroark Desi, that's probably much harder than Zoropod. E-Hammers would be good in this matchup, that's worth noting. Silvally, with Elixirs, they can actually go quite quickly onto Celesteela, but we have Fairy Gardens, I guess, to make it harder for them. Fairy Gardens, of course, giving us the freedom of retreat, which is important. I'm not sure how easy this would be. Again, E-Hammer, notably, would be very helpful in this matchup. So if it's not working, if this starts to not work with the Cobalion counters, I think maybe these make room for E-Hammers. Xerneas Brick with Silvally. I think having the stadiums is important enough to play the stadiums just because of Parallel. But I don't mind the idea of Silvally because it can be a good recipient of energy, and it can also give you a late game one-hit KO / GX attack / energy acceleration. It's not a bad idea. That'll be something I'll have to put a pin into and think about. That could again be something we test. As if we're down to Xerneas Break and Bomb Squad. Lol. But yeah, this can be an orange. This can be a solid orange. Watch and Learn Pseudo. Yeah, that's not a bad idea either. Like, if we're going to play Cobalion, we could play Watch and Learn. Where's the space coming from? Maybe we go heavy on counter. Ooh. Is this real life? Where's my space? Is it just this? Yeah, it's just this. Oh my lord. What have we done? What have we done, chat? Who needs to playtest when you can Theorymon and hope for the best? There's actually a really interesting article on Hearthstone. One of the best players in the game called Purple, he is known for doing hundreds and hundreds of hours of testing. But for the latest tournament, he's actively choosing to not play a single game of Hearthstone. And instead, he's going through simulations and spreadsheets in order to make his entire deck building decisions. So Theorymon, when done correctly, is definitely worth doing. And think about how much time we've already saved ourselves just by Theorymoning. Like, yes, I tested some Bulu, but some of these things that you would otherwise just start testing and maybe put, like, I don't know, 20 hours into Solgaleo because it's a one-hit KO deck that's also metal. Or, like, you'd start putting hours into testing into these things that we've now written off just from basic theory craft. I know this has been a few hours, but doing these sorts of things on a relatively frequent basis is definitely an exercise worth doing that can overall save you hours, even though it can be boring and difficult, and oftentimes I'll miss something here or there and it can make the exercise less useful, but it's definitely an exercise worth carrying out for yourselves. Definitely a good time-saving tool, because basically, in terms of decks that I now need to test, it will be the best deck in format, this deck, and some of the oranges that we have down here. I'll obviously test this. And Bomb Squad, let's just get to the last deck. For those who don't know what Bomb Squad it is, what's his name? Gorgeist. Pumpkin Bomb Gorgeist does 10 plus 40 more for each tool you discard from your Pokemon, all of your Pokemon. 40 more for each you discard. And it's a DCE. basically like a glass. It's the new glass cannon style deck where you use 4 rescue stretchers in combination with Klefki to cycle. Obviously, this acts as a tool, so you can make 1-hit KOs for just a DCE, and we're really lacking non-GXs that hit hard in the format. Like, look at all these decks are GX focused, apart from Greninja, basically, right? So we are really lacking in the glass cannon department. So where is Rainbow Road? I think Rainbow Road is never consistent enough to be considered. I think Bomb Squad is generally better, as bad as that sounds. But you would play. I've put not many games into this, but I've tried both with Zoroark as support to trade into combos to try and get multiple tools on every turn. Obviously, you need to end-proof yourself, but I think a 2 to artillery line is actually the better route because you play so many insta-play cards that oftentimes you will set up both your artilleries and draw multiple from both. So the idea would be Pumpkin Bomb with Gorgeist. Overall, it doesn't have enough gas, I think, a lot of the time. And the fact that it's a psychic type is actually bad for you because Zoroark has resistance. So 210 is actually quite easy to achieve because you need to have, 5 tools on board? Because you do 40 times 5 is 200 plus the 10 base. But you actually need to have a 6th tool every time to deal with exactly Zoroark. And obviously being hard to knock out Zoroarks is a bad thing for the format. So unfortunately Bomb Squad is in the red. How do you tech for Zoropod though? This is what we've been trying to do this whole time, man. This is the problem we're coming up with. Yeah, exactly. The issue with Gorgeist is that it's so unstable damage-wise. An N can stick at any moment. Ability lock hasn't gone completely. Like, you would definitely lose to Greninja, for example, with Gorgeist. You would beat Lycanroc Buzzwole, and you'd probably beat Vikabulu, because achieving 5 tools is pretty easy, often. But this is what's so powerful about the Zoroark builds, that you have to deal with optimal turns every time, and that's why it's so hard to counter. You need to have optimal turns whilst not drawing 10 cards, whereas they need to have optimal turns when they can draw more than 10 on certain turns. What's the Silvally variant I've listed in yellow? The Xerneas Silvally? I don't know. It was just a chat option. Is it bad that you only want to play Rainbow Road? Is Glade Artillery not an option? I think other than Silvally, other than Silvally and just straight Zoro or like Zoropod, I guess, to an extent, it does have weak matchups across the board. I think it will have a good Volcanion because you can Coco spread and then use like choice banded Glades. I think it'll be decent against Zoropod. Not even amazing against Desi Zoro because they can still devolve and that would be awkward. It's probably good against this actually overall. It depends how much they can cycle Mind Jack. But yeah, having a bad Guardi is still a big no-no. That's still a lot of rounds that you can lose. You will also have bad Garbodors. Definitely Golly Garb. Drampa Garb maybe a little bit better, but you can't not play a bunch of items, and Ability Lock will suck. Metagross would still be hard. Vikabulu would be probably fine. I mean, these two aren't horrible, actually. But inherently not having a strong Gardevoir is the big issue. And I don't think there's an easy way that you can make your Gardevoir better. Unless, again, you're jamming in counter energies and random stuff like that. So if you want to go super hardcore, you go like Glade Octillery, counter energy, Cobalion. Seems pretty mad. Beedrill fanboy, yeah. My spreadsheet's bigger than Taunts. Gliscor plus good card. Yeah, Mark. He's done you well. He's got you a lot of points, man. Silvally Fire against Sauropod. I mean, this is the thing. It's not... It is hard, but it's not that hard to beat Sauropod. But you have to also think about other matchups, right? You're not only going to face a room full of Sauropod. There'll be a lot of Sauropod, maybe 20%, maybe 25%, because it is that good. But 25% is not every round, you know? That's like 3-4 rounds tops. Although there'll always be the high tables. Yeah, Todd, your spreadsheet's pretty OP, man. I think the hilarious thing is, this whole time we've been trying to counter Zoroark, and the best ideas we've come up with all involve Zoroark. So, it shows how insane this card really can be. For me, though, I think if we're going for tier list, I think we still put Zoropod. I actually have it above Guardy just because it actually does well the whole time. I think Zorodesi is definitely very good. Then we have Silvally Zoro. I think these are like my top 4 contenders right now. What do you think about this? Do we argue that these are the best 4? Then I think there's more ways that we can maybe win. So Panager, I'm not sure I particularly agree that Guardy's autopilot. When you're not playing when you're not drawing optimally with Guardy, that's when good players separate themselves from not good players. Rule number 2 is combine the best 2 cards in any given metagame. Yep. Well, it's simple. After all that, let's go ahead and play some frogs on stream. I need to clear out some of my decks, man. Let's have an overhaul. I don't know why I still have frogs built at any moment in my life. Oops. Deleting the fighting decks because it doesn't beat the dark decks. Feels good, man. This is the Volk that we want. £20 if I burn frogs right now. I don't have any cards with me. The only card I have with me, hilariously, is a drawn-on Garbodor from one of our viewers. He gave it to me at London. And he said that he was going to check up on me to see if I still had it. And I do. Ray Magnezone. Lol. What's item lock? Twirl, get wrecked, left. Get out of here. Right, we're having a huge overhaul. Bagel San is now following. Thanks so much. What's why not? I need to really change these names. I might test some of this for funsies. Hot Valley is going to go. That's the Guardian I want. Laurantis Bulu is definitely in the bin. Epa's list can stay. Not Guardian, but the other one. Zoroark counters we've established is worse than just Zoropod. I need to call this Octovolk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What other decks do I need to have? Did I have the Silvally? Oh yeah, I need to get set of Steelers. That's actually probably the one I want to test the most. The Zoroark Silvally combination. Are they still like impossible to get online? Let's find out. Probably is impossible, right? Oh, so many boosters. Fast. Oh, I have 3 locked ones, but no tradable ones. Excellent. What's Hot Valley? Hot Valley is Volcanion Silvally. I don't want to borrow. I might as well just try and get them. I'll put up some ridiculous trades. Oh, no one wants any of these packs, do they? You have 4 Celesteela. Damn it, Mark. 35 packs. Come on. That's ridiculous. That's a box for a card. Think about that in like real world terms. Yeah, Mark, you did warn me of how good that card was. I should have snuck in and got them while I had the chance. So while we wait for some hopeful trades that probably won't even go through, even though they're ridiculous, let's try some Xerneas. We've got 15 minutes to actually play some games before I go to sleep. Lol. Actually, I need to make a video today. Oh, but there's no deck I like. Maybe I just profile Zoro Crabs. I should get rid of display capture at this point. Oh boy, a fire deck. Don't have Kiawe. That's how we beat Volk, when they don't have Kiawe. Actually, our Volk is way worse now that we don't play DCEs. When we played DCEs, we had an answer to Kiawe. In that you just DC Lele. Oh, very good. Welcome back, Xerneas. Profile Zoro Crabs, never thought you'd be hearing that. It's not the best Kiawe target for him, at least. Maybe even Kiaweing this is correct. I don't even know. If he does go Kiawe at all. Zoro Crabs. I need to see how different your list is, Mark. I'll watch your stream in a note after mine and just catch up on the list and see if I need to make adjustments. I still think Max Potion might be the right approach because they'll 100% just go aggro pod against you. They'll never feed you a Zoroark in a matchup, so you need to be able to Max Potion and Guzma to be effective. No attachment, oh my goodness. We're in luck, boys. Unfortunately, we need to play N because we also need cards. We need basic Pokemons. Oh boy, we hit 2 of them. could have YOLO'd there and just gone for a Bridget and grabbed ourselves the Oranguru off the Bridget next turn, as well as 2 Xerneas. Could have been pretty cool. Wait, Oranguru, yeah, Oranguru is in deck. We've prized 2 of our Xerneas, which is a huge problem. See how nutty their turn is. This is a Sycamore, it could be pretty nutty. Oh boy. You can cap out at 110, which is the good news. Oh wait, we prized 1 Xerneas, obviously, not 2, because 1's already on my board. Very good. From nothing to something. So we'll Sycamore into our last Xerneas and a Fair Energy, and it'll be chill. Right? What's going on here? Bench Pokemon. Well, you can hit 180, and we have prized stuff. And we have lost a Super Rod. It's better than watch and learn Sudowoodo to put on the bench. Unless, seeing as though he's not powering up Turtonator. So we'll have Oranguru, Xerneas, Cobalion. Cobalion being our last couple of prizes. I actually don't mind it at all. It's an awkward hand for sure. Am I retreating into this? Force him to have like elixirs plus a means of switching. I don't even want to play this. I want to play it pre-Geomancy, right? Oh, we have low odds. I don't want it to be on any of these targets though. I'd rather it be on something else later. It's obviously less likely later, but we can wait till we get our next Super Rod. Maybe putting Nest Ball back in the deck's good, but then again we didn't have Bridget. Maybe Bridget on 2 was actually correct over the Sycamore. We could have just functioned with a lower hand size. We could have guaranteed the Xerneas to Geomancy onto better targets. I've not played Xerneas in so long, I've just sort of like forgotten how to play it. Ooh, spice. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. This way we Guzma this and just hit it with Lele. I think it is, right? Yeah, this feels like it. Because then we can activate our counter energies after we like go down. This doesn't change our instruct at all, so we'll just get some damage in. He did nothing, including no steam ups, so his hand's pretty bad. Okay, responding on Guzma. Okay, that's annoying, but we can handle it. So we're behind on prizes, so everything has free retreat because counter energy counts as everything, which is pretty cool. I definitely won't be elixiring to Cobalion, so we'll promote that. Bridget is really nice here. I think now we fire off this. Very good. We'll save that. Because he could easily have a Guzma turn next turn. I think we're just going to quick guard here. There's no point in us going for a baby Volk. We need to wait for Guzma. They're still drawing poorly, don't forget. Field Blower, a little annoying. Okay, they drew out of badness. They had Guzma available, but they chose not to. Looks like they want to try and get some more attachments on their board first, which makes a lot of sense. One Steam Up, one Elixir. Bots with Twitch Prime thinking. So everything's powered up on their side. Gizma's the priority for sure. We haven't hit any breaks yet either, which is weird. We'll just play this in Sycamore hand. We can't be too patient anymore. Do I instruct? Carlo Franco 91 is now following. There's no reason to instruct because... yeah, there's no reason to instruct. Still no Guzma. Fireworks may start happening here. Floatstone. Floatstone means no Guzma, which is pretty good for us. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Okay, I'm gonna end. Hey! Pink stuff. It's also really weird that they're playing choice bands, by the way. Combating this with an end seems good. Refreshing the hand completely. Hurting their outs a little bit also. So counter energy is not working, but it should be working again when he takes the next prizes. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Oceania's the hardest from Tour's experience. Lol. So when he takes this knockout, it's best for us just to Guzma this and energy drive it. It's not likely to get responded on. 2 Volks in the bin, this will be the 3rd Volk, so he'll be able to steam up once. Be capped at 160 with Choice Band. How many elixirs have gone? 2. Potentially you could, oh okay. Oh, that's fine. There's a steam up to boot. Yeah. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Oh boy. 200. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 200. Oh boy. How on earth do I hit these elixirs? I had 11 cards in deck and 1 energy. So, over 50-50, right? I think I only had 1 energy. I mean, if we don't, we just go for an energy drive on the Volk. He KOs the Lele, we go down to 1 prize. Then we can finish it off anyway. Sorry, he goes down to 1 prize. Not preparing the next Xerneas because I'm out of Xerneas. And also there's a 80 HP Volk left. We got the win in the bag. Oh right, it's in the deck. Yeah, I'm not I don't really need to Ultra Ball, right? What would I Ultra Ball away other than outs from an N? Like I don't want to Ultra Ball this. Yeah, okay. Oh, what's happened? What has happened? Okay, it's gone. Excellent. There was nothing I wanted to Ultra Ball away to hit the Xerneas. Like it would be supporters that I'd be getting rid of. We actually got a trade? My goodness. We have 1 Celesteela, boys, and it only took 46 packs. Unreal. Like we literally can't lose from that spot, can we? He would have to play some wacky stuff to play around it. Only took 46 packs, boys. We're halfway there. Jayan R is now following. Thanks so much. My captain, was that you who took the trade? Ah. Liar. I don't need those packs, it's fine. Like, who needs Sun and Moon packs anymore? Like, I actually don't know anyone. Anyone? Nah, thought not. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the stream, guys. Lots of chatter about Zoroark. He really is meta-definingly insane. A lot of the criticisms he was given, as in being weak to Buzzwole and weak to Gallade, have been sort of hushed a lot. He's also pretty much begun the demise of Garbodor variants, which is actually so insane for the game because Garbodor had a grip on the meta since, you know, last London Internats. So it's been over a year where Garbodor was polarizing in the format. And it's so weird to see that like ability decks can actually sort of take control of the game again. And everyone's allowed to play Pokemon so much more now, which is bizarre to think, you know. And it's not just like, did I get Enter 2 and hit what I needed, or did I get Enter 2 and not hit what I needed, that really determines games anymore. Now it's just, did I get Enter 2 and trade into the 6 cards that I needed to win the game or not. So it's really freshened up the game a lot just from this one deck breaking out and being insane. So thank Tord for the way the meta is shaping up right now. Some interesting stuff to look forward to. Xerneas break, OP. Let's put it over here with the top tier stuff. Just kidding. But like, yeah, there's some good stuff to look forward to. What do I record tonight? I don't even know. If I can get another Silvally, if I can get another Celesteela for the very cheap 30 odd packs that I put up, I'll record Silvally Zoro. Actually, I should probably give that more time. I should actually test that more. Maybe I'll just do Zoropod. But everyone's done it. Like, everyone knows what Zoropod is, right? There's no point in me recording it. It's been beaten to death at this point. Same for this. I recorded this just pre-London, so I really don't know what I record right now. The format seems really narrow, because if you're not playing Zoroark, it's going to be hard to win games. So who knows? I don't know. Tord is probably tired of everyone jizzing on him. That's so disgusting, Mark. How many packs was I offering? I was offering a bunch. Let's check. I was offering 35 Steam Siege packs for a Celesteela. Sorry that they're Steam Siege, but yeah. Basically a box for a Celesteela. Mark just salty that Tord's getting more recognition than him. No one batted an eyelid when he was top of the rankings, and now Tord's back up there. Everyone's saying, GOAT. But anyway, yeah, I gotta shoot off. Maybe do a recording. I don't know. I don't even know what's good yet. I need to test more before I actually have decks. So the channel's sort of suffering right now. I guess I'll just upload this overnight. That probably makes the most sense. Although it's pretty weird. It's been a weird stream overall, and I got distracted a lot. But I think the sort of meta discussion is something that you don't see publicly as often as it should be done. And I guess it's content that not many other people provide. So although it has been running jokes and a bit disjointed, it may be worth throwing up just while I buy some time to do some proper testing. But yeah, cheers for stopping by, guys. It's been a great stream. We've had a lot of people in here. And for the next month or so, I'll be streaming on the OmniPoke one on a Monday, as well as on the Wednesday. Previously, it was on Complexity Card Gaming Pokemon. But this way we can just get more viewers, and that will be great. And then I'll direct it all back over to CCG later on. So cheers, guys. Can I post this somewhere? Oh man, I guess I can put it in the Discord. That's probably the best place I can put it. I may need to tidy it up a little bit though. because it's all over the shop, and there's some dead weight around. But yeah, cheers guys for stopping by. Cheers for being so interactive in the chat as well. It's been a good discussion, and we've all got involved. And yeah, see you on Wednesday, where I think me and Jack are actually going to do a first to 9 wins, because we still haven't done one for the format, and just because we've not been able to align our schedules for a while. And now that the meta is completely different, it feels like it's almost like it's a new game right now, so it feels like a good time for a first to 9 wins. So yeah, stay tuned to that. It's probably going to be a hype Wednesday, so I need to prepare 9 decks, and so far I only like 4, so that will be interesting. Pumpkin Bomb, question mark? Who knows, but we'll see. So cheers so much for watching, guys, and we'll be back on Wednesday. And if you missed any of this stream, I'll put it on the YouTube overnight, and hopefully it'll be uploaded in the morning. So yeah, ta-da!